Hi everyone. In today's presentation, we'll be taking a look at the importance of stakeholder engagement and risk mitigation in our project. Stakeholder engagement channels. Effective stakeholder engagement is important due to the sensitive nature of women's health data and the need for trust, accuracy, and regulatory compliance. Engagement channels such as formal reports and briefings are used for government and regulatory bodies. These stakeholders have interest in the legislative aspect of the project but require concise information. These structured updates ensure transparency and accountability, which is essential when compliance with regulations such as the GDRP. Another engagement channel is workshop and focus groups. These are used for communication between healthcare professionals and end users, as these stakeholders have high interest in the system's outcomes and require interactive engagement. Workshops enable two-way communication, allowing for participants to provide feedback on usability, accuracy, and ethical concerns. This is important given the known issues of inaccuracies in health data apps, where user input and clinical validation must be aligned. Therefore, workshops help reduce the risk of developing a system that does not meet user needs or medical standards. Also, surveys and feedback forums are another engagement channel that is used to engage a broader group of end users. These channels enable the collection of large amounts of data from a large user base. This is important in femtech applications where diverse user experience, such as different menstruation cycles or health conditions, must be considered. For internal teams, engagement channels such as collaboration platforms such as Jira or Trello are used to maintain ongoing communication and coordination. These platforms support agile methodologies for real-time updates and issue management. Given the iterative nature of software development in health applications that require frequent updates, collaboration tools ensure efficiency. These channels provide regular and non-intrusive updates to ensure that stakeholders remain up to date without unnecessary details. The selection of these channels is appropriate as it reflects the varied needs of stakeholders while also ensuring consistent and transparent communication. Using inappropriate channels like written reports could lead to disengagement, and therefore aligning communication methods with stakeholder characteristics is essential for maintaining engagement and improving system design. Stakeholder management. Stakeholder engagement in this femtech project must be actively managed rather than treated as a one-time activity. Effective management is important to promote stakeholder engagement. This involves continuous interaction, relationship building, and expectation management. One technique is early and continuous involvement of stakeholders. By engaging stakeholders in the early stages of the project, we ensure that their needs and expectations are clearly understood and integrated. This is important due to the risk of misinformation and inaccurate health predictions. Also, continuous engagement allows for interactive feedback, which ensures that the application is built in line with user needs and clinical standards. Another important aspect is expectation management, as misaligned expectations can cause project failure. The following align with agile methodology principles. Furthermore, building trust and maintaining transparency is also an important part of stakeholder engagement management, as users must feel confident that their information is handled securely and ethically. Transparent communication regarding data collection and usage is essential for building trust and privacy concerns, as they are a major barrier to the adoption of digital health technologies. Therefore, consistent and honest communication is important for user retention. In the application, this involves improving user interfaces and addressing ethical concerns by users. Demonstrating this responsiveness to feedback reinforces stakeholder trust. These show that effective engagement leads to improved system design, higher user satisfaction, and increased adoption rates. And it also reduces risks such as system failure, reputational damage, and regulatory non-compliance. This differs for poor engagement, which can result in failing to meet user needs or violation of ethical standards. Risk mitigation. For this solution, effective risk management is important as it reduces the likelihood of risks occurring and reduces their impact by providing mitigation strategies. The following risks are identified and mitigated. One risk identified is inaccurate health predictions, especially in areas such as menstrual cycle tracking and breast cancer screening. This is a risk because users may rely on the application for important health decisions. To mitigate this, the project proposes the use of clinically validated datasets and collaboration with healthcare professionals during development. This ensures that algorithms include medical evidence instead of assumptions. Another risk is data privacy breaches, as the sensitive personal health information collected by femtech applications can be breached. The mitigation strategy involves implementing end to end encryption, secure authentication mechanisms, and strict access controls. Furthermore, this risk can be mitigated in order to ensure compliance with legal frameworks such as the General Data Protection Regulation or the GDPR. This ensures that user data is processed lawfully and transparently. This approach is justified because data breaches not only have legal consequences but can also damage user trust and adoption rates. There is also the risk of regulatory non-compliance, as health apps may need legal requirements depending on their functionality. To mitigate this, the project includes early identification of applicable regulations and consultation with legal compliance experts. This mitigation is justified because regulatory failures can result in financial penalties, legal action, and reputational damage. A further risk is the spread of misinformation or misleading health advice. This is relevant in our solution where users may interpret app outputs as medical guidance. The mitigation strategy involves using verified medical sources and clearly distinguishing between informational content and clinical advice, which will reduce the likelihood of harm caused by misinterpretation. The risk of scope creep is also addressed through the implementation of a formal change control process. This ensures that any additional features or requirements are carefully evaluated in terms of their impact on time and resources. This is done as uncontrolled scope expansion can lead to delays, budget overruns, and reduced project outcomes. Finally, ethical risks regarding the misuse of sensitive data are mitigated through transparent data policies, ethical design principles, and inclusive stakeholder engagement. Thank you for listening.